All right, man. Talk to talk after hours. You know what it is. So look, man. Drake is in deep, deep trouble, man. Deep trouble. Clips just released uh a new preview video or trailer for their new album. Let God sort them out. And yeah, man, it looks pretty. It sounds and looks pretty decent, man. So I'm gonna tell you now, it's probably gonna be dope. And you already know what time it is. Clips and Kendrick. It's about to be crazy. So, so let's talk after hours. Let's get it. All right, man. Let's go.
Now, when it comes to everything going on in hip hop right now, with who's about to join Kendrick Lamar on the right side of hip hop as we see some of the biggest collabs in the history of the genre in the matter of weeks. Really, the rap revolution is about to start with the next moves that are about to come from the biggest heavyweights in the genre possible. And now, before we go any further into this, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. It helps me out a ton, and as that red button is about to be pressed like we have not seen from a set of rappers in decades when Kendrick and Pusha T release what they have been working on, leave that like so all of hip hop is ready for what's to come. And now, with that said, with the rumblings in the music industry that are happening right now, well, what is very clear is that rappers are terrified right now because in an era where crash outs and crybabies are still trying to get away with the same old mid music, well, in a time where that already has not been working the way it once was because of what Kendrick Lamar has done, the status quo for the bar of greatness is about to get up even higher. And with the album that has been turned in and with who is involved on this thing and what moments we are gonna see, people are genuinely scared for the release of this new music because in an era
I believe it. I've been saying this for a long time. Nobody's really releasing any music like that. Ever since G and X, I hear some things, but it ain't nothing that's like actually really good. I haven't heard nothing that's actually really, really good from the top people, I would say. Whatever happened to J. Cole dropping his album? And now that they're about to drop their album and Kendrick is still on his run right now, it's you gotta understand the rap game right now, it belongs to Kendrick, man. Anybody that's associated with him on that side, oh man, it's about to be crazy. I'm telling you, when they drop this album and it comes out July 1st, and the first thing people gonna run to that album for is what? Kendrick Lamar feature. And if that feature is classic or fire, that's gonna be another run right there. So it's crazy.
Kendrick Lamar has already been carrying the genre on his back with the all-time great run he is having, and he has already changed so much just by himself. Well, if you thought that one boogeyman was enough, now the other boogeyman in hip-hop is coming back out in none other than Pusha T, and of course, what he is going to be doing is releasing the long-awaited Clips reunion album with his brother Malice and with Pharrell production. And with all of this, while the return of Push and Clips already held enough weight considering the type of track record that every single artist involved has, beyond just the presence of Push and this iconic duo, within this rap album and the moments that are surrounding it, based on what we know and what is being teased, we are about to get the most pivotal rap release of 2025 so far at the very least, and the most pivotal record that the genre has seen since Kendrick.
Yeah, and that's another thing too. This Clips album is gonna be crazy. If it's a bro, come on, bro. Like this is a whole Pharrell production, and on top of that, you gotta understand, right? They haven't done an album in years. I mean, it had to be more than 10 years. They haven't done an album in at least 10 years. You know what I'm saying? Like, in them coming back together to do an album. Oh my God, bro, I can't wait, bro. I can't wait, bro. I can't wait. And it's not even just for the Kendrick feature. I can't wait to hear this album, bro. They albums be fire, man. The Clips albums be fire, man. You know what I'm saying? I love their albums, man.
Lamar's GNX, because really with how this thing is lining up, it is going to be the Avengers Endgame of rap music, because with Push, Malice, and Pharrell on this album already, and then on top of that, having features and collabs here with Kendrick Lamar, Nas, and now we officially know that Jay-Z has gotten involved, Well, as I said, if you have not already, be sure to leave that like so all of hip hop can see what is going on here, because really, with the roster of artists that are going to be a part of this album being that, and really we don't know who else may be on this thing as well. Well, this album is the dream team of team-ups, but beyond featuring a group of artists that you could only ever imagine would do something like this really, aside from the star power, the more you look into this Clips album and the moments that it's trying to produce, all of these names tying back to this record is not a coincidence at all, and with everything that's being involved in this record here, when you really look into what's going on, the goal and intentions are very clear in terms of what message that everyone a part of this thing is trying to send to the rest of the rap game and music industry, which is that in this era where rap has not just been diluted, but because of the split that has happened in the genre, because Kendrick actually called things out for what they were, we can see where all of the sides in this thing stand. Well, as rap as a whole has become more polarizing and there are so many different factions that are standing against what should be established greatness and just the principles that have held this genre intact. Well, really beyond.
I'm just wondering who else is going to be on this album. I wonder who else. If you got Jay-Z, Nas, Kendrick, man, if you got The Weeknd on this album, this is a certified classic. If The Weeknd is on this album, even if he ain't on there, I'm just saying, if he is, it's a certified classic. I'm going to tell you right now. And I think he probably would be on this album. The Weeknd probably would be on this album. It's going to be crazy if he is, man. I can't wait, man. Oh my God.
The Kendrick Lamar and Drake beef in terms of the head-to-head of it all. With this album, we are really going to see the after effects of what this has done to rap, and how it has now pretty much created these sides or houses in hip-hop where one is standing for the betterment of the art form and one is standing for the worst of the genre, of course with Drake, Ack, and all that clown show. And now because of the sheer nature of this and because all these artists align against Drake, of course, the Drake stans are going to be up in arms when this thing comes out, and they're going to try to say that all these guys are obsessed with Drake and they're clicking up against him once again. This is not going to be the case, and the responses that are finally going to be coming from these other names that are not Kendrick Lamar who are a part of this record are all going to be warranted and really needed due to the way that Drake and this other side of hip-hop has handled this entire era and moment that we have been in. And really, when we look in the grand scheme of this all for Drake, and in this era where before Kendrick stepped in, he was trying to diss and beef with somebody like Pharrell in the strangest ways possible. Again, when you actually track back why so many of these people have turned on Drake and now why they are standing on different sides of the genre, it's all due to Drake's own decisions. And even with Pusha T, beyond their beef being settled, let's remember that before Kendrick came at Drake, Drake was still dissing him on Scary Hours 3 on a track like Wickman. And I mean, while Pusha's already won that beef, and I'm sure he won't have much to say.
And that's what I've been saying. Like, Drake still be out here dissing people after the beef is over. He literally said Pusha T won, and then he went and actually dissed Pusha T later on down the line. Like, it's crazy.
In terms of actually igniting another back and forth, because we know Drake doesn't want that. I am still sure that Push is going to have some cold one-liners that will speak for him and Pharrell and how they have now really won this entire moment, which of course all stems full circle back to an issue that Pharrell and Clips had with Birdman multiple decades ago. And now beyond Push and Clips, who really are more of a vehicle to create this moment here, what is of course making this thing even more exciting is the fact that we are going to hear Kendrick Lamar on this album, which is almost 100% confirmed, especially after we saw Kendrick Lamar going to a studio after Push was talking about the record and said that he was waiting for one more verse. And then after that, we literally saw Push do an entire side quest where he followed Kendrick to his Gillette Stadium show on the Grand National Tour. And with this, we are about to see peak, as we are really going to see a rapper who is actually on Kendrick's level work with him and really see what they can do in what is going to be the ultimate victory lap and the ultimate moment where Drake is just going to realize that he should have never messed with these two rappers who he had no business dealing with. And now beyond Kendrick and Push, which is already pretty much as big as you could possibly get, what is going to make this record even bigger and the stakes even higher, and really even in terms of the collabs, could be more eye-opening, because there is a rumor out there that Kendrick, Push, and this all-time legend are on the same song here, is the involvement of none other than Jay-Z with this record, and now with Jay. Well, if Kendrick Lamar is the franchise player on...
Man, if Jay-Z and Kendrick and the Clips is on the same record, and if they throw Nas on there, the rap game is over, bro. It's over, bro. It's over. I don't want to hear nothing from none of y'all no more, bro. The rap game is over. I can actually retire from listening to rap. It's over, bro.
this side of hip hop, and Push is another star who is coming in. Jay is like the general manager or player coach at this point, because beyond just being the guy who made sure that Kendrick was able to get on that Super Bowl stage after the run that he had, which he of course was in charge of that, well, once again, Jay is just showing how he looks out for hip-hop's best interest and is making sure that the best visions and albums are getting the best treatment, as right before Clips began this rollout, they signed a distribution deal with Jay's Rock Nation imprint, which really does tell us so much about what's happening here. As now with Jay and his team literally having the job to push what is going to be the biggest rap album of the year arguably, and what one of the most anticipated records you could get is, we can almost guarantee now that after Push has been talking about these mystery features and these big name artists that he has been waiting for to fill in their verses, that between that and the actual industry obligation that he now has, Jay is gonna be on this album as well, because as Hove knows, a verse from him alongside a Kendrick and Nas feature will make this album one of the most stacked records really ever in terms of the talent on it. That's already gonna do wonders for this album, but beyond Hove, who knows how to take over any industry that he is in, Jay of course has so much to say in this time, because really due to his role in this era of hip-hop and all the criticism that he has gotten, and even the beefs and disses that he has received from some older friends that he's had in the worst and most disrespectful ways, I think we all can expect that Jay is gonna finally deliver that 4 or 5 minute verse that we have all been waiting to hear, really, where he is gonna call out, diss, address, and flex to everybody that has been coming his way, every single thing that he possibly can, in a way that is just gonna once again prove that he is one of the greatest rappers of all time. And now really, in all honesty, as we have been waiting now for almost 3 years since Jay delivered one of the best verses ever on an awful DJ Khaled album, and we have really not heard him do any sort of these big addresses since then, he is overdue, and the time has never been more perfect. And
I will say that I think Jay-Z is one of the most underrated lyricists of all time. I think he definitely is a great lyricist. I would put him in my top 15, but he probably should be higher than that. You know what I'm saying? He is very underrated when it comes to his lyrical display. There was just one freestyle that Jay-Z did, was on Hot 97. He was battling Nas, and he said he'll do the whole thing pay-per-view. I need to look up that freestyle. He was smoking that joint. I think it was on either Hot 97, Funk Master, one of them joints. But it was when he called out Nas and said they should do the battle on pay-per-view or whatever. You know, he said some shit in that verse. And I don't think I ever heard that verse again. But I'm going to see if I can look it up and find it. And I'm going to react to it. But let's keep it going.
And from Push to Kendrick to Jay to even Nas, with them all having a reason to just deliver all-time great material. Because really, in this era where the genre has split, whether they have been criticized or they have just supported Kendrick when more MCs are jealous, these names are in a league of their own and are really standing as the gatekeepers of hip-hop, whether you want to look at current acts or legends. I mean, when you just look at things like that, it makes sense why everything is coming around in this exact record the way it has, and why the expectations are scaring the entire industry and genre, because again, this is literally people's Mount Rushmore of rappers all being featured on one album, and who knows if they are going to be on the same songs together and how that's all going to end up. And you know that these guys are going to use their pen with the utmost skill, and they are going to call out rappers that they want to address, and they are going to send nightmares to everybody who is not in this thing for hip-hop, whether that's Drake or anybody else where the shoe fits. And now, while I am sure that this record is going to change the status quo as a whole, and if Kendrick, Push, and Jay are writing and rapping against one another on a song, you just know that the competition and greatness that it will bring will truly be unmatched and unprecedented, and it really probably will be one of the greatest moments we ever hear. While all of this talent...
Yeah, I think everything's falling into place for a lot of these artists, especially Kendrick. Jay's solidified. Kendrick's already solidified. The Clips is already solidified. But I think this just reignites. Like, to me, this is real hip hop's time right now. Even if it's for just a year, this is real hip hop's time. And I think a lot of artists, they don't know how to take this. You know, they don't know how to, they don't know how to take it. Oh, man, I'm getting real tired. I've been doing this all day. They don't know how to take it. I think a lot of these artists don't know where to go from here. You know what I'm saying? And I think I think a lot of rappers consider themselves artists, but they don't know how to do the art And I think there are a lot of rappers consider themselves rappers but don't know how to do the art, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? Let's keep it going.
Should, and I will say will give us an album of the year contender and a rap record that we are going to talk about for a very, very long time to come. Why this record is really going to cause such a major stir and shakeup in the industry is because all of these names are going to create an absolute nightmare when they address every single thing that they need to. And I think it will cause quite the reactions, and even with Pusha T really being the architect who is more responsible for what we are going to see than anybody else here. Just as Push has from era to era, whether it was getting with Pharrell in clips in the 2000s or working with the guy who he made Runaway with and who I am sure he will get dissed on this record as well in the 2010s, which made him a solo star who had a consistent producer and rotation. Push really has this intangible which has made him really a better MC than anybody else from his era at this point, which is that he is always ready to reach the next major point of artistic evolution and is always getting genuinely more entertaining as a performer on the mic, and this is what's made album after album of his get more great and always offer something interesting and unique in an era where generally everything in rap feels more stale. And I mean, this is why even with Push's last album, It's Almost Dry, it somehow became his first #1 despite him being over 20 years in his career, and again, nobody does things like that besides Push. And so really with this, while this Clips album will offer something very different, I don't think it's going to break Pusha T's trend of just offering some of the most consistent and exciting experiences in all of rap music, and really with the features and moments that Push seems to be putting all together. It really seems like Push is directly responsible for putting together these moments that are going to leave people talking about rap music and what happened on this very album for a very long time, and really with the level that Push generally does these things at, I think it's going to reshape and redefine the genre to some extent.
I mean, I definitely agree with that. Pusha T's been fired for all his career. I was shocked when him and his brother separated, where they stopped making an album together. I was kind of disappointed because I thought that they can actually. Well, the Clips definitely is in the contendership of some of the greatest groups of all time. They definitely I would say in the top 10. But I was kind of shocked that they separated. Well, not separated, but the other one didn't really want to do music like that or whatever happened. I don't know exactly what happened, but I was kind of shocked. But either way, man, you know, Push kept going and he had a long and wonderful career.
And as we know it. And really, to be honest, when we contextualize the stakes of this all in this moment, not just for Push, but even for Kendrick Lamar especially, it almost seems like this album will be the lyrical and real version of what something like Future and Metro Boomin's We Don't Trust You was in terms of the sentiment that all of these MCs are drawing a line together and they will not stand with anybody else in this ever-growing superficial rap game unless they are locking in with the same principles that they have. And as Kendrick Lamar, I am sure to some level, definitely thinks it's whack that somebody like Future and others like him from that era have backpedaled on Drake and want to be cool with him or have just made their disses seem more performative now as they are not standing in them like he has. I think Kendrick is taking this opportunity to stand next to legends who have always stood by their pen no matter what, to really solidify that the rap game doesn't even need these people who don't take the craft seriously anymore, and that Kendrick is going to be competing and moving the genre forward with the best of the very best, not just in this era but ever. And I think all of that is going to give Kendrick the only reason he needs to just deliver another verse of the year candidate and really deliver a moment that I am sure will leave all of us talking for so long, and that will create a whole other ripple effect of problems for all the crash outs and crybabies. And really with all of this coming in and with so many different possibilities of what this record is actually going to do, I really think that we are going to be getting a classic with this record. And now however this combination of Push, Nas, Malice, Kendrick, Jay-Z, and Pharrell all end up actually working with one another and complementing their vision, I think that every single one of these legends is gonna let everybody else in hip-hop know that the lines have been drawn and that they are going to lead this charge forward. And now especially for Pharrell, but more importantly Jay, Push, and Kendrick, one of these guys or all of them is gonna run away with a moment like we have never seen. And because of that, at this point and as the rollout is getting closer, all we can do is just sit back and wait to watch and really see what peak hip-hop is gonna look like in a fashion where Kendrick Lamar is not just standing by himself and carrying the genre, but he now hasn't just brought out good rappers from his current era, but he has brought out some of the best legends of all time to support him. And so now with all of this said, let me know.
All right. I mean, you gotta kind of thank Kendrick for this, everybody. Let's be honest. Kendrick Lamar has been doing this for a minute. Let's thank Kendrick Lamar for bringing real hip hop back, because before he did that, like that verse, hip hop was in a stale rut. And I think he pushed that competition back out there, and you see the results. He created a gorgeous monster. So, all right, man. I'll see y'all on the next one. Peace. Bye.